Villaluna, Kawayan City, Isabela. This is Mrs. Geraldine Sagario, your teacher in English 7 subject. Before we begin our discussion, let me remind you of the things that you should do before, during, and after our discussion. First, find a place where you are comfortable and prepare a notebook and a pen beside you. During our discussion, you may send your feedback or answers to my questions in the comment section of our YouTube live stream. Okay, don't forget also to jot down salient points of our lesson for future reference. And after our discussion, I will be sending you your learner's activity sheet for you to answer later on. If you are now ready, let's begin our discussion. Okay, so our first lesson on this episode, or for this third quarter, is about multimedia resources. Again, I'll repeat, multimedia resources. And I just want to give credit to the author of our SLM or self-learning module, Mr. Randy Villafuerte. Okay, so there are 3 objectives of our lesson. Okay, so at the end of our lesson, you will be able to first define multimedia, second, classify the types and elements of multimedia, and third, use correct and appropriate multimedia resources when giving information, instruction, making explanations, and narrating events in personal or factual recounts. So let's begin. Please turn your module on the 3rd page and let's try to answer this part, what I know. So the instruction goes like this. Choose the letter of the best answer. Write your answer on a separate sheet of paper. So let's begin with number 1. So it says here, multimedia means the use of more than one blank in communication or presentation. So what is your answer? Is it A, a number, B, a file, C, media, or letter D, sound? Okay? Pwedeng isend ang answer sa group chat din natin. Yan. Pwedeng mag-send ang answer sa group chat din natin. Okay, if your answer, okay, ang mga sumagot ng letter C ay Michael, si Carl, Princess, lahat kayo. Well, the correct answer, class, is letter C. That's right. You're right. Letter C. You're all correct. So, multimedia means the use of more than one media in communication or presentation. Yep. As the name implies, multimedia, from the prefix itself, multi means many. So, it is the multiple forms of media integrated together. So, this includes text, just like what we have tackled last meeting about the linear and non-linear text. Okay, those are examples of media. Yes. Another examples are audio, video, drawings, and still moving images. So when we say still moving images, these are images created with almost full control over lighting, mood, and composition. These are images created by photographers. Okay, another example of media is animation. Okay, so let's proceed. Okay, item number 2. Okay, so nasa number 2 na tayo. The multimedia element that makes object move is called A. Is it audio? B. Video. C. Graphic. Or letter D. Animation. Okay? Please send your answer. Okay, may sumagot ang letter A. Is it letter A? Are you sure? Is it really audio? It is a multimedia element that makes object move. Is it audio? Okay. Meron ding sumagot ng video. Okay. Michael says it is graphic. Are you sure? Okay, the correct answer, class. Okay, the correct answer is letter D, animation. We will know later on what an animation is. Alright? Okay, let's proceed to item number 3. Okay, so the question is, there are blank elements in multimedia. So, how many elements are there in multimedia? Ilan ba? Is it A4, B5, C7, or letter D, 8? Okay, number 3. Okay, is it 8? C ba? 7? No, okay. Well, no one got the correct answer. Well, the correct answer, class, is letter B. Actually, there are only 5 elements. Okay. Proceed tayo sa number 4. Nowadays, most business companies make multimedia blank to promote their products. Is it A, sign, B, letters, C, catalogs, or letter D, encyclopedia? What is your answer for item number 4? For item number 4, what is your answer? Okay, very good, Carl, Justin. The correct answer is letter C. Josephine din. Okay. Okay. Catalogs ang tawag doon. So when we say catalog, class, this is a pamphlet or book that contains such lists like complete enumeration of items arranged systematically with descriptive details. So the answer is letter C. Now let's proceed to item number 5. Okay, the multimedia which is delivered to web page is called blank multimedia. So what is your answer for item number 5? For item number 5, what is your answer? Number 5. Number 5, letter C, is it TV base? Okay, very good, Josephine. The correct answer is letter D, web page. Okay, so may clue na kayo doon. Okay, proceed tayo sa number 6. Music can be restored in a computer as blank files. Music can be restored in a computer as blank files. So, is it A, audio, B, graphics, C, video, or letter D, animation? For number 6, so what is your answer? Very good, Michael. Okay, it's called audio. Audio po yun. Yan. So, proceed na tayo sa number 7. Bringing to life or applying movements to illustrations and images is called blank. Anong tawag doon? Is it A, audio, B, graphics, C, video, or letter D, animation? Okay, for number 7, is it graphics? Are you sure? Well, bringing to life or applying movements. So, kapag your clue here, okay, the keyword here is the word movement. Movement. Another one is illustration. So, the answer for item number 7 is letter D, animation. Okay, so, okay, how's your score? If you got 5 points and above, meaning you have a prior knowledge regarding our topic. However, if you fail in this part, okay, or in this activity, okay, don't feel upset, for it was just what we call a diagnostic assessment. Diagnostic assessment lang yan. Now, let's proceed to lesson 1 entitled 5 Components of Multimedia. Okay, nasa 5 components na tayo ng multimedia. Okay, so it says here, multimedia is an interactive media and provides multiple ways to represent information to the user. It provides an interaction between users and digital information as a medium of communication. Okay. Multimedia is used extensively in education and other areas like education, training, reference material, business presentations, advertising, and documentaries. So it says here, multimedia is a representation of information attractively and interactively using a combination of text, yan, audio, video, graphic, and animation. So, in other words, multimedia is a method of presenting information by combining textual data, audio, visuals or video, graphics, and animation. So, any information we can get, okay, our hands on can be categorized as multimedia. Anything from magazines, yan, from your televisions, our televisions, from our computers and internet is a form of multimedia. So, multimedia lahat yon, as it employs various inputs from multiple sources to bring synthesized content to any user. So, from the prefix, ano ba yung prefix doon? Prefix non ng multimedia. From the prefix itself, multimedia means many, right? And media means medium of communication. So, in simple words, when we say multimedia class, it refers to the presentation of information and instruction through a combination. Take note of the word combination here. So, presentation of information through a combination of graphics. Ayan, pinaghalo-halong graphics, audio, text, or video. Tama. Okay? A combination of still images, animation, and other form of presenting information. That is multimedia class. Okay. So remember, multimedia instruction is often interaction. Again, what are the 5 components of multimedia? Okay, very good. Okay, tama yung sinend nyo. So, the 5 components of multimedia, sometimes 6, pero yun nga, the basic is there are only 5 components of multimedia. So, tama kayo. These are audio, text, audio, graphics, video, and animation. Tama lahat ng sinend nyo. Okay, now let's proceed to the what's in part of your module. Okay, so let me read the directions. Okay, read the passage and complete the task below. Young people in the Philippines are watching less and less news on television. This comes as no surprise as young people become increasingly addicted to their smartphones. Youth opt for online sources like YouTube videos, social media, and games rather than switch on a TV and watch a news program. The country's youth are more likely to get their news about the world from social media, particularly from Facebook news feeds. According to a data portal, there were 73 million social media users in the Philippines in January 2020. The number of social media users in the Philippines increased by 5.8 million between April 2019 and January 2020. So, plus 8.6% siya. It has been observed that young people are increasingly using social media as their primary news source. As of the third quarter of 2019, Facebook and YouTube were the most popular social media platforms in the Philippines. Within the same period, Filipinos spent nearly 4 hours each day on social media. In 2020, Facebook's user population was over 800 million in Asia. Furthermore, it held nearby 93% of the country's social media market share as of 2020. Okay, with this figure of social media users, Filipinos rely on social media app as primary source of news and other platforms. Okay, so that ends. Now let's proceed to test A or quiz letter A. Quiz, sa ating quiz. For items 1 to 6. Read the statements below and write if the statement is true and false if it is false. Yan. So use a separate sheet for your answer. Okay, number 1. More and more young people are watching TV news. Okay, write T if this statement is true or correct, and write, okay, send nyo ang F kung ito naman ay false. Okay. Okay, Michael says false. Okay, Josephine as well. All right, very good. All of you are correct. So, statement number 1 is false, class. False, Malaysia. Okay, number 2 tayo. It was a surprise that young people watch Lil TV news. It was a surprise that young people watch Lil TV news. So, what's your answer? Ito yung nasa module natin. Okay, the answer is very good. Yeah, it's true. Okay, let's proceed to item number 3. The youth prefer to get news from a newspaper. Is it true or false? Number 3. Okay, very good, Michael. It's false. Yeah, because they opt, okay, they prefer for online sources, diba? Sabi nga dun sa text. They prefer browsing the internet than watching a news program. Okay, let's proceed to item number 4. Young people spend roughly 5 hours a day on social media. Is it true or false? Is it 5 hours a day? Number 4. Number 4. Are you sure? Well, actually, it's false, no? Kasi 4 hours ang sinabi doon. Tama? Tignan nyo ulit. Number 5. Let's proceed to item number 5. Young people use the radio as a primary news source. Is it true or false? Number 5. Young people use the radio as a primary news source. Okay, very good. Michael and Ray and Rose. It's false. Why? Why false? Because it's the social media platforms that they use as their primary source of information based on data reportal, di ba? And according to the data reportal, there were 73 million social media users in the Philippines in January 2020. Okay, let's proceed to item number 6. There has been a decline in the use of social media as the primary source of news. Item number 6, so what's your answer? There has been a decline in the use of social media in the primary source of news. Decline? Nag-decline ba siya? Nag-decline ba siya? Are you sure? Okay, very good, Rochelle. Rochelle and Maria. The correct answer is false. Well, it did not decline, di ba? And actually increased nga eh. according to the report, the number of social media users in the Philippines increased by 5.8 million. So, additional 8.6% yon between April 2019 and January 2020. Meaning, yun nga, I've said a while back, there was an additional 8.6% users added to the total number of social media users. Okay, let's proceed sa B part. Choose the letter of the correct answer. Okay. So, question number 1. What is the main idea of the reading text? Is it A, Filipino youth are using multimedia? B, Filipino youth are getting addicted to social media? Or letter C, more and more Filipino youth are watching the news on TV? Or letter D, the Filipino youth are watching not as much news on television? So what is your answer? Numbers, okay. Number 1, is it A? Filipino youth are using multimedia? Number 1. The correct answer for number 1 is letter. Okay, very good, Ariane. Letter D. The Filipino youth are watching not as much as news on television. Okay, number 2 tayo. What is the main source of news among Filipino youth? Is it A, Facebook newsfeed, B, YouTube videos, C, news on TV, or letter D, social media apps? Okay, very good. Brian, Catherine, Kylan, Josephine, and Rean. The correct answer is letter D, social media apps. Number 3, question number 3. How many were social media users there in January 2020? Is it A, 100 billion, B, 5.8 million, C, 58 million, or letter D, 73 million? Number 3. B ba? Is it 53 million? Are you sure? Check nyo yung text. Okay, the correct answer is letter D, 73 million. 73 millions. Okay, number 4. The youth get their daily news about the world from A, TV, B, YouTube, C, Facebook, or letter D, Instagram? Anong sagot? The correct answer is Facebook. Diba? Kayo nga palaging Facebook ang ini-scroll nyo. Okay, now let's digest or elaborate the 5 components of multimedia before... Okay, anything else? I want you to watch, okay? I prepared here a video clip. So I want you to watch and listen to this video clip. It is composed of not only one component. So, panoorin nyo mabuti. Then later on, we will identify its components. Yan. So remember the 5 components of multimedia. The text, the audio, video, graphics, and animation. So, credits to the owner of this video. So, yan. Play natin.
To animals, to bacteria, even to viruses which were once considered non-living. And most importantly, we humans have it. DNA stands for deoxyribonucleic acid, and although every living thing has DNA, its varied compositions differentiate you from others. The interesting fact is that humans' DNA is 99% the same. Therefore, it is only 1% of DNA that makes you unique. Does this mean twins don't have exactly the same DNA? No, they don't. unless they're monozygotic or identical twins. So now the questions arise. Why every living thing has DNA? What is so important in it? And what does it do? DNA has a recipe for synthesizing proteins. DNA synthesizes RNA, or ribonucleic acid, by a process called transcription, which is further translated into proteins by a process termed as translation. The explanation of DNA conversion into RNA and finally RNA into proteins is called central dogma. DNA contains hereditary information that is passed on to you from your parents. If you and your father have the same color of eyes, or your hair are as silky as your mother, it is because of DNA that you...
Okay, all right. Okay. Oh, so what are the five components that you observe? So, pwede niyong isend yung mga sagot. The first one is text, isn't it? Yeah, very good, Michael. Merong audio, graphics, video, animation, and text. Yeah. So, let's begin with the, what do you call this? Text, media, text. The first component is text. Yeah. So, it says here, in our module, text is the most common multimedia element. All multimedia productions contain some amount of text. The text can have various types of fonts and size. Text is seen as probably one of the most frequently combined mediums in the colorful world of multimedia. It is usually combined with photographs and videos presentation to augment, meaning to supplement, ang ibig sabihin nito. To augment these other forms or communication rather, and give a detailed multimedia description. So as you can see from the video clip class, these texts are being combined, tama, with the pictures, yung mga pictures and graphics na nandoon. It is being used to supplement the pictures, videos, yung animation na nandoon, for you to be able to get a detailed description, right? Aside from the text, what else did you observe from the video? I mean, what another component did you observe? Okay, nasabi nyo na kanina, it's the graphic. So, graphics makes the multimedia application attractive. Well, indeed, if we watch again a video with drawings or pictures there, the charts and the other graphic presentation made the whole video attractive, isn't it? So, it's not just a mere attractive, but this component help us to visualize what is the topic all about, isn't it? Imagine class, when you are just reading a plain text without any illustration. So it would be quite hard for you to visualize the text of what's happening in the text, especially if it talks about science, right? So if you're just reading a novel, well, it's okay if it doesn't contain illustration, but if you're going to study, read about science, it would be easier for us to understand a certain topic if there are some media components being added, such as graphics, illustrations, pictures, videos, and etc. Yan. So, again, graphic represent non-text information such as drawing, yon, photographs, charts, tables, graphs, and etc. Graphics are more often than text to explain a concept and to present background information and etc. The graphic medium can be combined with the text medium. Nakita nyo naman kanina, di ba? So there are two types of graphics, the bitmap image and the vector image. Okay? Pwedeng basahin nyo na lang yan mamaya sa module ninyo. Okay? Another thing that we observe, okay, element that we observe from the video clip is the audio. Okay? Well, the sound that we have heard from the video clip earlier is what we call an audio component, di ba? Yung voice over doon. Okay. I mean, the speech is the audio component of the video. Another one is the sound. Yan. Another thing is the music. Okay. Those are the audio component of the video class. Okay. Another component from the video clip is the video itself, di ba? Well, if a science teacher will play that kind of video in your class, it supplements your lesson, di ba? So, when your topic, let's say, is about DNA, this kind of video would be a great help to supplement your lesson, for it gives you a clear picture of how DNA works. Kasi kapag ina-explain lang siya through words, medyo mahirap siyang intindihin talaga, hindi ba? Number 4 is video. Okay, so the term video refers to the moving picture accompanied by sound and television picture. Ayan. So, let's proceed sa identification part na kasi medyo limited na ang time natin. So, yan. Okay, before we proceed to activity number 2, let's just discuss animation a bit. Okay, so animation class is the process of making a static image look like it is moving. The animation is just a continuous series of still images that are displayed in a sequence. So the place where images and photographs meet the video material is where animation begins. Nakita nyo kanina yung mga gumagalaw na images. Yan. Those are what we call animation. The animation can be used effectively to attract attention. Hindi ba? Animation also makes a presentation light and attractive. Okay? The animation is very popular in multimedia application. Animation files are small, compact, and easily transferable, which is one reason why they dominate the world of the internet today. Yeah, this is correct. So we're almost done. Let's end our discussion by answering activity number 2 on your module, the identification part. Yan. Okay, according to Arnel, ano ang gamit or may tutulong ng multimedia resources used to develop special effects in movies and video games? Well, you're right, Arnel. That's right. Okay. So, the directions is choose the type of multimedia from the pool. Write the letter of the correct answer on a separate sheet of paper. Okay, number 1. The national hymn or the national hymn Lupang Hinirang. Philippine national hymn. So, what kind or what component of multimedia is this? Anong sagot? Okay, the answer is it text, video, or audio? Okay, very good, Michael. It's an audio. Number 2, the movie Titanic. The movie Titanic. Number 2 tayo. Lagyan nyo ng number para hindi ako malito. Okay, very good. It's a video, Arnel. Yep. Okay, number 3, the image of Dr. Josepi Rizal. What kind of, what component is this? Number 3. Number 3, graphics. Michael Christian. Okay, Michael. That's right. Very good. Number 4, the animated film, The Lion King. You have the clue there. A clue, rather. Okay, number 4. Very good. It's an animation. And number 5, a friendly letter. What component of multimedia is this? A friendly letter. Number 5. Very good, Arnel. It's a text. So, it seems that you are ready to take your learner's activity sheet or your last. Always remember class. The combination of these components, the text, the graphics, audio, video, and animation is what we call multimedia. Yan. Pag kinombine natin lahat ng mga media na ito, matatawag na ito na multimedia. Okay? So, that ends our lesson. Well, if you have any queries, feel free to ask. If there's none, we may now end our discussion today. For your last, as usual, I will be sending in our group chat. Thank you for participating, class. Goodbye and have a nice day.
Sugtong mo na.
Oh, baby. Ay, inaugural.
Ano, dyan ako dito na.